When Sony launched its flagship, that is the Xperia Z2 a few months back, we said that it felt like a device where the thought was on making improvements all around. Improvements that made sense and improved the experience. Fast forward 6 months and Sony already has a successor to their flagship device. Way too early? We find out that and more. Hi, this is Dhruv Bhutani from Fonearena.com and this is a video review of the Sony Xperia Z3. Let's start with the external hardware first. It is hard to spot differences between the Xperia Z2 and the Z3 when you pick up the handset for the first time. It takes a keen eye to notice the continuation or perhaps next generation of the omni-balance design that Sony has pioneered and perfected over the years. The front of the handset continues to be a large fluid slab with a black glass-like finish. Distinct Sony branding can be seen at the top, while speaker grill ports lie at the top and the bottom. There's a 5.2-inch IPS LCD up front. Unlike some of the competition, Sony continues to have a 1080p panel here, which we'll be talking about more further along the review. There are no capacitive buttons on this handset, and you'll be relying on the on-screen controls for UI navigation. The bezels too are slightly smaller compared to the Xperia Z2, but that can possibly be owed to rounded edges of the handset. Moving over to the sides of the handset, you'll notice curves all along. Despite the slab-like design, the handset fits better in the hand than any other previous Xperia device. The right side of the phone sports a single flap that hides away the microSD card slot as well as the SIM card slot. Below it is the machined aluminium power button and the volume rocker. Finally, towards the bottom you spot the camera key, which is increasingly becoming rare on smartphones. The left side of the phone is relatively clean with a flap hiding away the micro USB port and a dock connector as well, which means the handset can withstand water splashes and dust just that bit more. An eyelet for a wrist strap is also located here. The 3.5mm audio jack is placed at the top of the phone, while the bottom has been left clean and bereft of any buttons. Worth noting is that the edges of the Xperia Z3 are made of nylon instead of the aluminium that runs around the handset. The back of the Xperia Z3 is typically Sony with minimal branding and a camera lens at the top left corner. The lens has a small aluminium ring around it that will protect against scuffs and scratches on the camera lens. The glass covered back is also vastly less prone to scratches and fingerprints. The Sony Xperia Z3 measures 146 by 72 by 7.3 mm, which is noticeably slimmer than the Xperia Z2. The handset is also slightly slimmer due to the reduced bezel size. Overall, the Sony Xperia Z3 might not be a redesign, but it has substantially improved ergonomics that make it feel that much better in the hand. Moving on to software, the Xperia Z3 has the latest version of Android, that is KitKat 4.4 under the hood with the standard Xperia overlay above it. The lock screen and home screen experience is exactly the same as we're used to. It is possible to place a single widget per pane on the lock screen, while the home screen has a gaggle of pre-installed widgets that showcase some of the Z3's capabilities. While there is the standard pin-based and face recognition-based unlock modes, the Z3 also introduces double tap to unlock, which works very well indeed. The lock screen supports up to 7 panes that unfortunately can't be rearranged. You do get the standard Xperia themes though that change the color scheme of UI elements throughout the phone. The music and video applications pull in metadata and subtitles from the internet while displaying your content front and center. The video player too benefits from Sony's X-Reality engine that boosts colors and sharpens the image just a bit. Your mileage will vary, but it does help with some content. There are a whole host of settings waiting to be discovered on the Xperia Z3 that really help to make the device your own. Features like adjusting the white balance to tweaking the contrast levels, we really like the level of customization that Sony allows with the handset. The Sony Xperia Z3 is a flagship grade phone powered by a 2.5 GHz Qualcomm Snapdragon 801 processor. The Adreno 330 GPU is clocked at 578 MHz. There's also 3 GB of RAM on board. All said and done, this is just a subtle bump over the Xperia Z2. Storage on board the handset is 16 GB, of which just about 11.6 GB is available. We've always maintained that hardware specs are only part of the performance story, and this definitely remains true with the Xperia Z3 as well. The handset performs very well with nary a lag despite putting it through its paces and switching on multiple resource-heavy applications. Over 3 generations of phones, Sony has definitely learnt its lessons and has taken in consumer feedback to offer what is truly a wonderful display on the Z3. The original Xperia Z1 had a panel which was barely visible in sunlight and had poor viewing angles. The Z3 on the other hand has a 5.2-inch 1080p IPS LCD that is stark sharp, offers fantastic brightness levels thanks to the live color LEDs incorporated into the panel. Sony's own triluminous display technology also helps on this front. Merely based on our experience, we'd call this one of the most beautiful displays that we have seen. Sure, the Note 4 and the LG G3 have higher resolution displays, but in day-to-day usage you just don't notice the difference enough to detract from the Xperia Z3, and you definitely will not notice at the screen size. Let's move on to the camera now. There's a 20.7 megapixel camera on the Xperia Z3 with a Sony G lens and a 27mm wide f2.0 aperture. The 1x2.3 inch sensor is small and has been carried forward from the Xperia Z1, and this does show in images. We've never been particularly happy with the images shot on the Xperia Z series, and this continues here too. Using the superior auto mode at 8 megapixel results in slightly lower noise levels, with the trade-off being lower resolution. Dynamic range in the shots is generally lacking, with washed out images the norm rather than the exception. Even the HDR mode doesn't really help too much and results in overblown highlights and dark areas that are simply overexposed. Sony has introduced a high ISO mode on the Xperia Z3 that tops off at 12,800. As you'd expect, this results in very high noise levels and should only be used when absolutely essential. The Xperia Z3 can shoot 4K video at 30 frames per second, and it has options for 1080p video at both 30 and 60 fps. 4K video is mostly sharp and it records at close to a 50 megabits per second bitrate, which captures a decent amount of details, though predictably results in massive video files. While testing out the battery life of the Xperia Z3, we found it a bit surprising to see that the handset had lower battery capacity at 3100 mAh when compared to the 3200 mAh unit on the Z2. However, improved software optimization and internals means that actual autonomy was practically the same. The phone easily lasted a workday and could be stretched to almost 2 with frugal usage. Sony has also built in a stamina mode that switches off applications and radios when you turn off the display. This helps further extend the battery life. From a technological standpoint, the Xperia Z3 seems to have appeared way too soon. There's not much that could or has been upgraded, and Sony too has played it safe. The phone has little over the erstwhile flagship, that is the Z2. This proves to be a problem for Sony, as there is little to portray the Xperia Z3 as a true replacement for the Xperia Z2. The build quality is obviously good given the Sony lineage, but we do think that the Z3 has improved ergonomics drastically. The display is fantastic and be considered a marginal improvement over the Z2, especially when it comes to brightness levels. The same goes for the Xperia Z3 as well, which displays better benchmark scores, but not much of a tangible improvement in usage. The Sony Xperia Z3 is a beautiful smartphone with top-notch build quality and flagship-grade specifications. It brings an excellent display, quality software, and improved dust waterproofing. The device is priced at Rs 51,990. If you enjoyed the video, please do hit the like button. And if you have any questions about the Xperia Z3, please do let us know in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.